Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So just one thing to cover here, and that is update 50 for the Avatar Legends role-playing game, where they talk about the starter set, and this is something that's been building up for a little bit because they teased sort of like this announcement ahead of time that the starter set would have exclusive content in it. Now, at the time, we didn't know what it was, so we were waiting for this announcement. And so this has created quite a bit of an issue here. Lots of debate in the comments. I don't think there's really the need for a lot of debate. It seems pretty clear that this is a pretty bad move, a bad look for Magpie. And sure, the timing is a little bit unfortunate to make it come across even worse. They're in sort of, in a way, a no-win situation, but that's the way it has panned out for them. That there is a fundamental, I think, issue with this that does need some addressing. And I'm not sure if what they've said so far is enough to address the situation. So let's get into this. So they're saying the Avatar Legends starter set is now available. So straight away, there's a little bit of an issue here of like, this is an update for the Kickstarter. This is a product that is not actually particularly associated with the Kickstarter, except that is a product made by the same company and it's an Avatar product. This was never talked about throughout the entire run of this product. And they're getting towards the end of this project, so why are they talking about this? This is a weird marketing thing that they're talking about. And sure, from their perspective, they're just letting us know that there's another product available, but because it's a starter set, you're telling fans who already have the actual rule book about this starter set. So there's a little bit of an issue already there about like them hyper marketing a new product, let alone the fact that it has exclusive content in it. You can see here it's a box that has this stuff in it. So instead of the full giant rule book with all the different sections, you just get a 32-page condensed rule book. You get a 40-page introductory adventure booklet featuring the Pirates of the Crimson Sails set in the era of Avatar Aang, and the Burning Fuse set in the era of Avatar Korra. So two brand new adventures, which are quite notable content. Like, keep in mind, these were some of the stretch goals that we unlocked as part of the original campaign. So there's two new ones of them in here. New dice as well. 10 blue engraved dice featuring Tui and La. You get 21 of the action, combat action cards, some character sheets, rules reference sheets. You get a poster map of the four nations, not a cloth map, so it's just paper. You get an unlock code and a 50% off digital version code. So, we'll get into the controversy in a second. And then they go to say this. Well, if you've backed it already, you already have everything you need to play the game. In my mind, that's an irrelevant point. I think it's fine to mention that to people as a sort of, if you already have the rule book, you don't need this. It's called a starter set, but you already have a starter set sort of like, quote unquote, built into the content that you have already. But then, that said, and it's just like, oh, and by the way, it also does have exclusive stuff. So the adventures, the two adventures for Aang and Korra, and the dice are technically new. They mentioned the code here and stuff like that, but I think that's a whole separate story. The point is, I think people who were part of the Kickstarter would have liked to have had the option to, say, include the starter set, include just the dice, include both of those adventures as part of their pledge. If not just to simplify the purchasing of like all of the content associated with this game, that I think is a very kind of frustrating thing. So, the rest of it is not particularly important. Like, where can I get it? So, it's exclusive to Target for now. So, for Americans and stuff like that, sure, you have easy access to this. It's $24.99 is the price of this. So, it's not overly expensive, but again, to basically be asking people who want all the content from your game to have to purchase an extra product for $25 just to kind of stay up to date when they don't need most of the starter set content is an incredibly bad look, because that is the takeaway here. But they say it will only be a Target exclusive for a limited time. After that, it will be available at other stores, including friendly local game stores, other game distributors, and our web store. So if you can't get the Target, there will be a chance to get it, of course. Okay, cool. They do have a section on getting it internationally. It will be available through local stores, online shopping. I don't think that's good enough to just say that, especially when a lot of people in specific places may not have a specific local game store that would even stock something like this. Similarly, a lot of online stores, like could you tell us perhaps some of the stores that will have this? Because, you know, again, you're talking about a lot of countries here. Now, they do also say, including through our web store on April 12th. Now, my problem when I first read this was that, like, whoa, that's not good enough, because your web store has crazy shipping. Like I said before, when I tested this, even yesterday, it was still the same. If you go to buy the core book, which is the $50 main book for Avatar Legends on the Magpie website, it costs to Ireland, where I am, so it would be probably the same for most of Europe. It's $50 for the product, $45 shipping for the most basic shipping option, plus 10 taxes. And then that, I don't think necessarily fully factors in, like, you know, if it will have a customs kind of thing associated with it. Now, we'll get to some of the stuff they answered in the comments in just a second, but they're saying that apparently that is a glitch with the website that affects international orders. They didn't say anything more than that about, like, what the problem is. Is it charging twice as much shipping, a percentage extra more shipping? Is the shipping just wrong? They didn't really answer that. But, you know, we'll have more information about how to buy it direct in April. But, you know, you can get it from your local game store. So there we go. And this is a problem, especially because, like, on Twitter, when they posted the kind of tease of this and it said exclusive content, I already voiced a concern about the fact that there was exclusive content. And they were like, you know, there'll be more information later. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll wait until you give me the information to give my judgment. But ultimately, I don't think it's changed much. I still fundamentally have an issue with the fact that there is exclusive content in a starter set for this role-playing game. I don't understand the logic behind this decision, because it seems to only exist to basically want to get your most hardcore backers who have supported this project to make it happen to buy another product, that most of which they don't need. Now, the comments, and this is the problem here, they need to update this post or put out a secondary post with, like, an update on this, because I don't think people should have to scavenge through the comments to try and find the stuff here, especially as, like, the comment sections grow larger and larger as people have their debates about, you know, is this right or wrong and stuff like that. But let's go through some of this stuff, going back to the start here. So obviously some people still having issues, they haven't received their thing yet, and that's the other point, the timing on this. They are still shipping out stuff to parts of Europe, like the entire Asia, Middle East region and stuff like that. Still, I don't think most people have their stuff on that side of things. So yes, there is that other bad luck of just the timing of this, of you are marketing a new product with exclusive content while people still don't have the stuff that they ordered that was meant to be here a year ago. So, you know, they're saying they'll have updates on some of the other stuff here. But then here, the first kind of proper response. And this is the really only mention, I think, in the comments that they give about the whole idea of the Target exclusivity deal. The starter set was contracted to be released at this time, so we couldn't delay it to space it further out when the shipping delays continued to happen. So, okay, that's somewhat fine, but it still is a bad look. Like, it shouldn't be on us to be like, oh, well, yeah, I'll stop being annoyed because you had a contract for an exclusive deal with Target. Like, you know, you understand that that is a bit of a bad kind of ask of people to be like, okay, the timing thing maybe isn't as much of an issue, but they don't address the fact that there's exclusive content. And you'll note this throughout the entire thing. None of the official Magpie comments address the core controversy here. Why does the starter set have exclusive content? When, theoretically, could this not have just had 2 of the other adventures that we already have? Why does it have to have exclusive content? And then, if that was part of the deal with Target, how did they not realize that that would be a problem? So, sure, the timing is a little bit of a weird thing in the sense that I assume the starter set was actually meant to be something that had hit a bunch of months after the release of the core kind of stuff. But the fact that they're still in the process of getting that stuff out to people has created this bigger kind of like issue now. But I still think, regardless in a way of when you released it, unless it's like a year or 2 later, if it's only a few months, it's still a problem that, like, hey, here's a starter set and it's got new stuff, and it's like, what? That's not good. But anyway, I posted something, and obviously I just expressed that, like, hey, I feel it's an absolutely baffling decision to have a starter set have exclusive adventures. Why not just 2 of the ones that are already available? Especially when starter set exclusive stuff was not talked about or available during the campaign. This is not a good look. And then I say, like, I hope that this is offered with the Republic City supplement or something, because this is just frustrating. So keeping in mind that, like, there's going to be 2 more books for us to buy. And that's a very different thing. There's some people in the comments here trying to make the case that, like, people are being entitled, and it's like, when the supplements come out, do you expect to just be given them for free because you're a Kickstarter? And it's like, that's a terrible response. Like, truly next level terrible response to people and the issues that they're actually having here. Everyone knew going into this product that what you were getting was sort of the starter kind of like bundle of content, the main core initial release. And in my mind, the starter set falls under that like initial batch of content. And I find it weird that they're trying to sort of frame the starter set as being this kind of wave 1.5 of content, when it's not really. So my point is that people will be buying the Republic City supplement, so can these at least be offered like in a bundle with the Republic City supplement for like free or something like that, when that stuff comes out? Because it is frustrating. And then I say, also, I hope you'll address how expensive shipping is on your website, since it's might be one of the only options for international fans to get this and future books. Because like I said, I've not really seen an online store for Europe that sells the books kind of otherwise. So I feel like I am probably going to be relying on the Magpie site to change things. And notice the response here. They give me a response, but they just ignore the core of my post. They just ignore this. We're sorry for the glitch on our website. Since when was it a glitch? When it comes to international shipping, our team has been working to resolve the issue with Shopify. Thanks. And like, I wish they went a little bit further. Like, what does that mean? So, like I said earlier, like, does that mean the shipping is like twice as much as it should be, or what? Because I definitely looked at that as just, is this just a website that has very, very expensive shipping? That happens in some cases. But apparently it's a glitch. We'll see whenever it gets resolved what the pricing ends up coming out to. But the problem here is the contrast between the somewhat reasonable shipping for the Kickstarter, which are still somewhat expensive, and then how expensive the Magpie website is currently. That's a bit of a problem. And, you know, the lost pledges, of course, that's fine. And then, you know, they confirmed that, like, you know, the exclusive thing, it's not just like, say, like the Target edition, you know, exclusive kind of release that has the 2 adventures. It's just that this product has the 2 adventures. Problems with that. And then this is an interesting point here. They do confirm this. Will there be a possibility for us backers to buy the adventures, maybe in digital form through Drive-Thru RPG or something? And they say yes. They'll be available via Debiplane in April and as a PDF at a later date. So this is a problem. And I sort of agree with this to some extent. Like, even the idea of like asking, can we buy this exclusive content from the starter, is a little bit kind of much. But this is perhaps where you have to be a little bit realistic and think that, like, okay, if they have some sort of a deal in this, and whether it's with Target or it's just a licensing deal with Avatar, can they just give us this for free? Even if they wait for the exclusivity window to end, can they give us these two things for free if they wanted to? And I wonder, is it even an option? My hope with this, for me, is that one, if it has to be something that you buy separately, that the pricing is at least reasonable. That these should not be $10 each. I'd be even questioning if they're $5 each, that sort of thing. And, borderline, I'd almost feel like they should be sending out some sort of like a discount code as well to backers to be able for backers to get it for a little bit cheaper as well, because of how bad of a kind of PR look this is. That they're already, they had so much goodwill that, has basically been entirely spent over the course of the delays that they faced, the issues throughout the shipping process, and this is just another thing to add on top of that. And ultimately, in all of this, apart from them trying really hard, and apologizing for delays, there's been no real sense of like, here's what we're going to do to make this right, necessarily, other than just, we'll do what we said we'd do. And this feels like a little bit of the final straw here of like, this is not a good look at all. Like, something needs to happen here, and hopefully it can get resolved, because you'll notice that, like, apart from this, there's no real sense of them really, addressing the core issue. Why was this made an exclusive and stuff like that? And there's a lot of people who kind of feel that way. And the fact that they address the international stuff to a certain degree, but not fully. And that is a huge kind of part of it ultimately. And I think what's not helped is that you do have people like this who start posting on every single person who has a valid complaint, and they start trying to defend the company over like everything. And I think it's a bit of a problem, that's what's happening here. And it feels borderline like some people are spamming in the comments. Like, I'm surprised some of these comments aren't being taken down. And stuff like that. It's kind of weird what's kind of happening here. Like, I get some of it because there's some information that is kind of not correct in some of this stuff, but it's just the idea that, like, we need to like do damage control for Magpie, and it's like, you don't work for Magpie. Like, what are you doing here? You're allowed to feel that this is okay, but people are allowed to feel that this is a problem. And some people just don't seem to get that, like, at all. And it is a bit of a problem. So it's frustrating because, yes, this is an issue that is mainly for, like, backers of the campaign. For other people, like, I want to make it clear. The starter set existing is perfectly fine. I don't have an issue with the fact that there is a starter set for this game that is available. My issue is literally just that within the starter set, which is a product that fundamentally I don't need because I already have the core rulebook. Like, I already have, like, dice and stuff like that. But those two adventures in this, there was no need for them to be exclusive adventures at all. There just plain wasn't. And until we get an explanation of, like, why they did that, I think this is just, for me, going to remain a problem that Magpie have to deal with. And again, we'll see what the pricing is like when they offer the two adventures digitally. But so far, not a good look. And unless that price is good, this is something they will ultimately have to address, I think. So we'll see what happens here. Otherwise, like, okay, like, there's a bit of exclusive art on the cover for the box, but that's fine ultimately. And look, I'm not going to be so dramatic about this where I'm done with Magpie, because I still want to get the Republic City supplement when it comes out. I want to get the Spirit World supplement when it comes out. But I feel that I've almost been set up for, like, there's going to be a lot of effort. Have to put a lot of effort to get this book and have it not be this thing that costs so much in shipping, and I get it from somewhere reliable as well. Because there's that slight hesitation of like, do I want to order directly from Magpie, even if they fix their shipping glitch or whatever it is the direct order what I want to do? Do what I have to because I want to get the content, because I collect this stuff, and I like the kind of lore information that's in these. But this is also the same company doing stuff like this, and more issues beginning to come into play. And like I said earlier, like, I think they have gotten off somewhat lightly, I think, over the course of the entire campaign, because they've had so much goodwill. And it's been sort of telling that, especially over the course of the shipping stuff, like, you know, I think a lot of the defending did calm down, because for the most part it was just like, there is no defense here. Like, they chose these companies in a vacuum without really asking anyone for any sort of feedback on that side of things, and they've been burned by that decision, and that is what has made some of this stuff happen in this way. So you will excuse people for not having a ton of sympathy for you because your big business deal with Target has been timed poorly in relation to your Kickstarter campaign. That fundamentally, we are fans. We should not have to do the PR work for Magpie for them. We can be understanding to a certain degree, but like, we don't have to, you know, defend them over this when there's some bad decisions that have been made in all of this. And I think that's the kind of point here in all of this. So in the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on this, the starter set with exclusive stuff. And just very quickly, I saw a few people say this. Oh, it's only 25. Just buy it, you know, it's fine. If you bought the other stuff, what's the problem with paying 25 for this? And I think, like, that is a terrible point as well. Like, again, truly next level terrible point about, you know, just trying to justify buying basically duplicate content and paying that much for effectively just some of the new stuff. That's not a good point either, because you're kind of telling these companies that, oh yeah, just continue to do this. I'll continuously buy this duplicate content just to get like little bits of exclusive kind of content when I don't need most of it. Like, it is important to kind of like, you know, hold a line on this and not just be like, but hey, it's only 25, because suddenly that only 25 will become only 35. And, you know, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That's the way this stuff works. You know, they are a company, they are a business at the end of the day. You know, there needs to be a point at which we're like, no, this isn't okay. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But otherwise, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.